Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Thursday coaching call. This is for scripts and conversions. My name is Lee Honish. I am joined by Fred Solomon. How are you, Fred?
Good morning, Lee. I'm doing good.
Outstanding. As always, for coaching students, if you didn't know, no, you still get emails. We were testing out MailChimp this week, if you've been listening to our market debates. And because Fred tomorrow is doing an email situation. Saturday. Sorry, I'm a day early. Saturday, Fred's doing an email presentation. I know that he will recommend MailChimp. I'm officially helping him out on this one.
Don't do it.
Wouldn't recommend MailChimp. That was me doing research for myself. But when Fred talked about doing this thing on Saturday, I knew that he would talk about MailChimp for free. So I've been trying it with the coaching students as well as what are considered my most engaged contacts. And my final report is not very good. Not very good. Everybody seemed to have had a problem with it one way or the other. So there you go. I'm glad I could do all the homework for you, Fred. It'll make you look really good and nobody will come back and complain later on. Also, as always, click on the links scheduled for this week. I'm shooting video Friday and Saturday if you have not already scheduled for your Red video calls. All of this will go back out shortly. If you didn't get an email to attend today's webinar, which I do apologize. It all seemed to work yesterday and today it seems to be less, which is
put it on your Facebook wall so people just say to register for today's webinar, put it on your Facebook wall so they can find you on Facebook, because a lot of the people are friends with you.
Yeah, I also need to go to the trouble of, or at least talk Lori into it, into creating a group on Facebook so that these things don't happen. And I'll add those links at the top of the group page where you'll have basic access all the time.
You could do it. You already have a couple groups, but yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll just create, well, this group doesn't have one, so we'll just turn the Home Advocates page that I already existingly have into a group, and that'll take care of it. I can convert a page to a group, just like magic. And so I can get that done pretty quickly, and happy to put everybody involved in that and make sure that everybody gets an invitation for that. So I'll add that to my many long lists of things to do as well. I want to pick up, I shot with Sally last Saturday, and I got her side of the story, and I don't want to beat the dead horse on the Liam situation, but yesterday you were saying that your hardball tactics, or at least your no contact tactics, produced a response from him. Where does it stand right now?
So yesterday, Sally sent me an email asking me, have you heard from Liam? And so I was gonna, she sent me an email and I was gonna text her back because I try to limit my emails. I just get so many of them. So I was typing in Sally, I typed in Liam, and I searched my messages because I didn't save his number or anything in my phone. And like an idiot, the message that I was supposed to send to Sally, I sent it to Liam like a complete fool.
Ugh.
And it wasn't good. And the email and the text message said, what did it say? Oh God.
Oh, awkward.
He is going to get strung out.
Awkward.
Thing. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, I quickly try to recover. That was at 5:24 p.m. And then I realized, I didn't send it to Sally. I sent that to Liam. And then at 5:25, I said, hey, Liam, when calling around, because we told him to call those cash for homes people, call them up, Sunday and all those companies that do that stuff. Now Open Door, everybody. when I said, when calling around, don't let them know when the trustee sale date is. When they ask, no, this I meant to send to Liam, right? To kind of recover from the stupid text message that I wrote. And when they ask, when is it, just ask them, how fast can you close? Instead of answering when the trustee sale date is. And then I said, don't tell them, but they know how to look it up. And I said, we will need 3 to 4 days to get the money wired to bring the loan current, just to give you some timelines. And then at 6:48, an hour and 22 minutes later, he's texted back to me. He goes, thanks, Fred. Not sure strung out is the intent. Strung along is probably more of a strategy. And then I said, at 6:49, 1 minute later, I responded and I said, I was just hoping that these people don't string you along and lowball you right at the end, a few days before the trustee sale. And then he goes, I hear you. Player's gonna play, boy. And I said, be careful. I know how these companies work. And that's how we, yeah, I screwed up.
Oh, well, you live, you
But,
learn.
I still helped them, even though, so maybe that was someone's intention for me to actually screw up like that. So I don't get involved, but we did what you said, what everybody said in the group. We stopped communicating. And when we stopped communicating, he reached out to us like, hey, I sent an email to Sally. And then after he stopped communicating, I picked up where we left off and I just said, yeah, I think you should call some of those companies up that buy your home for cash. So that way you get an offer. And then if you don't like that offer, and he goes, well, I got an offer for 600. And I'm like, well, let's analyze those numbers. I said, pretend you're an investor for a second. And I said, what's your house worth? And Sally jumps in on the conversation and she goes, well, one right down the street, an exact model just sold for $825. But we all know he already admitted that his house was potentially, he said, a hoarder in a pile or whatever he said. I have to go back and read the text message, but apparently it's not in selling condition. And I don't think he plans to get it into selling condition. So he's either going to sell it to one of those investors or he's going to deal with us. So he said he got an offer for 600,000. And I said, okay. And I said, your house is 1,571 square feet. I got some information that it's going to cost about 130, 85 bucks a foot to rehab it. So we looked at the numbers, that was 130,000. Then I talked about the holding costs, then I talked about the selling costs. And I said, $600,000 is a great offer. You should take it. Those were my exact words. Sally liked that I said that. And sure enough, his next statements were, oh, well, I don't know if they're still interested. Oh, okay. So maybe that offer wasn't an offer. It was just something to create whatever he was looking to do.
So there's a lot of takeaways and lessons in this pile of, I be very careful of the text you send, especially if you're working with somebody else or you're talking over someone, I guess. I mean, it was a good recovery, but I don't know how that's ever going to be. I really don't.
Yeah, no, I'm really not, I'm not attached to the outcome at all. So whatever happens, happens. No big deal. But what I can tell you is that I made a mistake, and I felt bad that I texted that. I was responding to Sally's email, and I was going to try to text that to Sally, and I texted it to Liam instead. And I'm like, oh, Fred, you're such an idiot. But I did try to recover, and I haven't heard back from him since. I'm not reaching out to him at all.
Yeah,
Not
I wouldn't
after
worry
that.
about it too much.
Yeah.
I am going to another marketing event tonight.
Oh, wow.
2 in 1 week, Fred.
That's awesome. That's great.
And I think there's a lesson in it for real estate professionals. Realtors all say the same thing at networking events, right? So the one thing I've learned, I've done yours, but I'm usually a speaker, so I don't really have to, I'm not required to do much other than speak about marketing. But when it comes to real estate agents at these events, and there's usually 4 or 5 of them, there's maybe a couple of people who do web pages and quote unquote, the social media stuff. That's a direct quote. And then there was me and another guy who actually did real marketing. The rest of the room were mortgages and, people who do embroidery, you name it, it's all over the place. It was literally all over the place, and a couple of political people that are running for office out here. The people that get the most engaged have 2 things in common from my assessment. Number one, if you're just going to say, hi, my name's Lee, I'm a realtor, right? I'm looking to connect with mortgage people and insurance people and this people and that people, and we can build a relationship kind of thing. Very vanilla at those types of events. The people that got most engaged were people who had, first of all, a hook. I think a hook's really important, especially at those types of events. I saw the people that got actually more engagement, like the Inca Dinka do embroidery person. I did my whole, I get people more of what they want. And there were a couple of other people who did it. And I didn't go out and actively talk to people. Let's not get completely out of hand here. I'm still socially awkward on multiple scales. So what I was able to do was create something that was memorable, that had people coming up to me and asking me for my information. And I think there's something to be said about being memorable, one, having the hook, and the USP, Fred. We talk about it a lot. And on these particular calls, we need to talk about USPs a lot more.
The
elevator pitch, right? I had 15
Yeah.
seconds and I went 15 seconds. I was actually one of the quicker people. There were people who clearly didn't know how to do it, where at about the 20 or 30 second marker, you were kind of mentally rolling your eyes into the back of their head, listening to them. So if you get an opportunity like that with other businesses, especially if it's something that caters to other people, it should be, you got to have a unique selling proposition. You need to be able to convey it in 15 seconds. If I were at the Tivoli outdoor market here in town, right? I talk about it all the time. One of the bigger outdoor markets in the Summerlin area, or an event like this. You give me 15 seconds and they go, what is it you do? I get people more of what they want. Oh, what is that? It always begs the question, like, what do you do specifically? I believe in 3 forms of marketing. There is nothing else. There is direct marketing, there is web marketing, and there is referral-based marketing, and everything that goes with all 3 of those. I understand every single way to market in those 3 categories. I don't say it with arrogance. I say it with confidence when I put that prop out there. If I'm tempted to try the I fix broken real estate routine today, just to see what that gets out of people. However, because I went with Lori, she had already done the USP of working with homeowners that have missed payments. So much like the other marketer who I liked very much, I try not to step on toes and give the same proposition that somebody else is giving. So I'll be torn when I go into the event today to see what I do. But, you know, it's a lot more fun being somebody who gets people more of what they want. I'm lucky. Those are, you know, it's on my tap card. I can easily change I use my tap card. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I was shocked at the number of people that were blown away by the tap card. Like, it was a big deal. It still doesn't work extremely well on Android phones, but you do have a code on the back that apparently with Androids, you can just shoot or turn on your camera and it automatically picks up the barcode on the backside of the card when it doesn't pick up the RID tap. But iPhones, it works fantastically. So I got to employ a bunch of those marketing techniques, and the scripting that I did was very straightforward on, you know, the other marketing guy was far more frustrated than me about talking about marketing to people, because I'm in an industry where people promise things that they're not capable of doing, charging outrageous money, and then ultimately blaming the client. I don't believe in those results. I guarantee my results, and I try to make it a thing. Your USP is give me a loan and I'm, you know, spend a week in my condo in Hawaii. And you've said many times on these conversion calls that rarely, if ever, does anyone take you up on the deal.
Very true. So,
I mean, if you got 15 seconds, what's the 15-second Fred pitch?
that I was just going to suggest that we talk about that. My 15-second, because I'm in networking groups, as a realtor, by the way, my 15-second pitch is, hi, I'm Fred. I'm a real estate agent here in the Coachella Valley. We are in a business that right now is changing. A lot of the people are unaware of what the data is when it comes to selling a home. And if you want to know how to sell your home for top dollar in a declining market and what you need to do, I have some great suggestions for you. I'm Fred. I'm a real estate agent on the east end of the Coachella Valley. Thank you very much. Have a great day. That's my pitch.
Sounds good. It's not bad. And do people approach you based on that pitch?
Rarely, only because it's not everybody's looking to sell their house at that particular moment. We have a mortgage guy in our group. I wanted the mortgage position, but you know, I wasn't gonna, you know.
No, same thing with me. The longer standing guy in this group is a marketing guy. I went over and made nice with him immediately because I'm always looking for marketing ideas, and he does chat bots, and he's using, you know, some AI technology on Capture that, and I actually improved it for him. He goes, oh, I use chat bots, but he goes, I make it clear that somebody knows that they're, you know, everybody knows they're talking to it. I said, no, your first line from the chat bot should be, hey, this is a robot, and I'm afraid I'm talking to a robot. So if you wouldn't mind exchanging a few lines with me before I notify someone who will jump on this chat with us. And he goes, that's a great idea. I go, that's kind of what I'm good at. I'm good at good ideas of improving message. I don't get all of them, but I'm very good at improving message. And I looked at him and I go, he was an email marketer. And I go, oh, really? What's your open rate? And he was telling me, oh, I do great. I'm always in the upper 20s. I go, I do 65%. He goes, you're joking. And I whipped out Constant Contact and I go, this one's been running for a while. I go 65% all the time. Doesn't matter if I had a new list. I said, because ultimately it comes down to content. He goes, how do you explain content to people? I go, it's impossible. At this point, I've come to the conclusion, because he's kind of frustrated about it too. He goes, if my clients would shoot 3 minutes and 3 seconds every day, I go, yes, I know. 3 minutes and 3 seconds, or one, technically it's 1 30-second video, 1 3 minute and 3 second. If you're doing something that's like an ongoing massive series, like a podcast or a video vlog, you can go up to about 20 or 30 minutes and usually around an hour. Fight Net Radio, when I do it, breaks all the rules and usually goes for an hour and a half to 2 hours to 2 days to 3 days. We've had to split them and put them out as multiple part series. We get going so bad on Sundays talking about boxing. But that's, you know, a different format. So whatever it is, when you're talking about a marketing message specifically, and I think that's where people get hung up. What am I going to talk about for 20 minutes? What are you doing? Are you doing like, you know, improv? Like what? 20 minutes is a long time and a lot of content to create, especially if you're not comfortable talking on camera. So 3 minutes, 3 seconds. In fact, I shot longer this week with a bunch of people because I want to use them for my personal vlog. They'll all get cut down for what they need to be done for, but I want to use these long forms and go, hey, here's what's going on in this city. Here's what's going on in this city, and put them on my personal vlog in longer form. And they're not awkward. They're not clunky. They run really fast. I've got a New York. I've got Sally's situation, which I was really interested in. A great one with Terrell. So I'm going to test those out next week, long form on my vlog, to see how they perform in a different algorithm. Because much as I like, the biggest discussion I had is algorithms, which I realize nobody cares about on a marketing level, but you constantly have to tweak delivery of your delivery methods. Like you have to, right? If something isn't producing, why would you continue to do it? I mean, it's a pretty cut and dry thing. If I were putting out something on Facebook that was constantly getting a good message, I would keep doing it until I didn't get that response. Same thing with my email. If my emails drop below 60%, obviously I need to do something different, right? I want to maintain that super high open rate and my click rate, which is still a constant. It's always going to be about the same for click rates, but it has to be a constant. And I can also see it because the videos that people watch off of, this is really nerdy marketing stuff, but if you're taking notes, this is the real deal. So you send out an email, it gets an open rate. I keep track of that. There's a click rate. It should always be 1 to 3%. That's really kind of a common click rate. You can go as high as 10%, but generally speaking, you're always looking for 1 to 3%, all the way up to 10%. So remember, email marketing at the end of the day, as much as I like to admit it, yes, permission-based, but it is still spam. Why is it always 1 to 3%? What's the rate on opening mail? What's the, you know, when it comes to that particular form? Same thing on the internet. I get lots of views on videos, but what's the click rate going over to a website? What's the click rate going over to a phone number? It's always going to be about the same, 1 to 3%. So it's a numbers game that you constantly got to be aware of. Which takes me to the second part. We were talking about the text for free help thing, right? And me doing free help. So I put that message out on the email the other day and sent it out. And I also put it on Facebook that way too. And I got one, Fred. I got somebody who literally texted the word help to me. And I immediately texted back. They didn't do anything. I waited a couple of hours and I turned around and I called the individual. We talked for about 15 minutes. And it was somebody doing ADUs with distressed properties and former monster person, blah, 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 blah kind of thing, right? But it was a unique proposition. He was looking at targeting lots that are in distress or properties that had larger lots that were in distress. And his proposition was to come in and add ADUs in California, which is, because of the governor, now kind of a thing. If you meet the appropriate, requirements, there's still requirements for it. It's not every single property. But he was explaining this and he goes, could you do marketing for that? I said, of course I could. I said, you're still just targeting distressed property, but now you've got a unique selling proposition. I would not talk about necessarily helping somebody avoiding foreclosure. I would talk about them enhancing their property and creating another opportunity. Perhaps there are, when you can drop an ADU or you can get a partnership to drop an ADU, like all the different variations and machinations of what he was discussing, there's a lot of different angles that can be taken from the whole thing. And with that, and I said, no, I said, we got to do content and video and you've got to upgrade. I said, between the two of them, just go sign up through the main site for the big package and I'll send a link over for this thing and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, done deal. I'm like, there are times, Fred, where I just don't want to go, yeah, Fred's right. It was that simple. And again, how do we apply this as real estate professionals? Let's go back to
It's the free. It's the word free.
It's the word free. Yeah. I got lots of run on that post that I just did the other day, helping people for free who want to learn the alternatives to foreclosure. Did anyone call me or message me directly? No, not yet, but I only did one. There's no such thing as one when it comes to marketing. Like yeah, I guess technically the monster, you can do one. You can go out on one trip on the monster and more than likely first time out, even making mistakes, you'll get appointments. There has to be something tremendously wrong. And right now it's the data more than it is anything else. Almost every data source seems to be flawed. We're now using yet a different data source, which is why you guys pay to get your leads. Most of you will get Property Radar, Realty Track, or a User Title Rep. What you'll find out, it's a slog it's a slog. I mean, it's a real slog. This FICO thing has really screwed up data. So we're on a new data source, which seems to be performing better. It's in fact what Lori uses herself, and it's gotten results correctly. She's nodding her head. So I'm going to go with yes. Again, tested first before introduced to the group. I don't believe in doing it any other way, much like this MailChimp thing. I know that you're doing your mail thing on Friday, and look, truthfully, people are going to want to send out an email and get a result. And you're going to go, oh, my results are not horrible for MailChimp. I've got, what most people would deem great, 30% open rates, Fred. That's great. It would be great for a regular person. It's not great for me because I do 65%. And again, the click rate is always the same, 1 to 3%. So I want more people to open to get more clicks, to get more views. This isn't really a crazy thing. It's just math. So if you guys adopt that math and marketing are one and the same, right? Keep it really basic, really simple. Math is marketing, right? We're just doing numbers. All right, going to send an email. I should have an open rate above 20%. I know I'm only going to get a 1 to 3% click rate. All right, what are you going to put in that email that's special? It's ultimately going to come down to that phone call. I tried to avoid that phone call yesterday, Fred, legitimately, when the guy texted me. He didn't, I wrote a big text back. Hey, this is Lee. Can we set up a Zoom or blah, 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 blah. I was shooting red videos and I didn't get a response. I had to suck it up and make the phone call. The guy picked up on the third ring and they're like, hi, who is this? I go, it's Lee Honish. Oh my gosh, Lee.
Yeah, because you never call you rarely call me and I known you for 15 years.
I don't know if it's years of being in the bank and having phone phobia at this point. Like, I'm just not a phone person.
No, you're not. And that's okay.
And it's not, it's no disrespect to anybody. There are other people like this. I was reading the producer, Rick Rubin, somehow talked Apple into not taking calls at all. And it's just a text source on his iPhone, which I thought, how do you do that? Like, that's the most amazing thing I've ever heard of. My iPhone is text only. Oh, well, it's just my 2 cents. At the end of the day, I had to go and be live at a networking event and meet people. At the end of the day, we've talked about it here repeatedly. for Rick or Steve, this is really kind of our regular group, right? Judy, Fred, Howard, Deidre, Catherine, Barbara. Yeah, these are like all our regulars, right? So my question is still always going to be the same. Fred's going to go down to Snapdragon here shortly and go see people at the football game. I'm going to go out to whatever it is, Cougar Stadium. I don't even know what they call their stadium, Fred. And I'm going to talk to people about what I do for a living. And I've discovered that I physically have to get over my insecurities and my fears to engage people if I want to generate new business. This is the bottom line. You're going to physically have to talk to them. Physically going to have to talk to them. There is no such thing as an osmosis listening. I just don't see it.
So I have a lot of thoughts about that. First of all, I think the best thing that someone can do is practice their networking pitch when they go to networking meetings. And people in this group obviously work with homeowners that are in default. So a networking pitch for people in this group would be different than any other realtor that would show up to that networking meeting. And you can say, hi, I'm Fred. I work with homeowners who have missed payments. That is my preference of who I like to work with. Today, we are seeing a lot of homeowners that have equity in their homes and they have missed payments. Those people are set to lose a lot of money. I still like working with homeowners that want to sell their home, but I get special gratification from helping homeowners who have missed payments that are about to lose their homes. If you would like to talk to me or you know someone in this type of situation, please reach out to me. Hi, I'm Fred. I'm a realtor. This is what I do. You know, that you would consider something like that for your pitch when you go to these networking events.
Yeah, completely.
To be consistent with that.
Yeah, it goes back to the simplicity of that particular Herbalife campaign from, I don't know, what was it, 10 or 20 years ago? I lost 20 pounds with Herbalife. Ask me about it. I mean, I'm not talking about something so blatant, unless you're going to a large public event where you think you're going to get, that's still I can get into the mechanics of marketing, basically a sandwich board, but it's going to create the engagement at the end of the day. You're basically doing your elevator pitch on your shirt, which means people came up to me and I had to shut my mouth and nod my head and listen to them explain to me marketing and what they're doing and how, they run their businesses and why it works and everything they know about marketing. I'm like, okay, how's that working for you? Well, I'm not really getting the clients that I want. I go, so there's something fundamentally wrong with what you're doing, or at least the way you're doing it. Well, I buy this and I buy that. There is a really weird thing going on in real estate specifically, but other industries of promising leads and lead sources that are not actual, if that makes sense. Like it's not for there's no free lunch, right? It's how many people opened and watched it, how many people clicked on it. If you can't document that and show it to me, then don't move to the third part, which is, what do I say to them? I start with a text. I abundantly say on my emails and stuff when I'm working on putting stuff out, or I'm trying to get free Zoom calls to talk to people about marketing. Cool. If you want to ask me about how to send I was telling somebody this at the event. I said, I had somebody take me up the last time I did this when I was starting to generate new clients. I had somebody call me and spend 15 or 20 minutes explaining why their mail campaign was successful. And if I could improve their mail campaign, I go, you follow me? Yes. You follow my philosophies on marketing? Yes, I do. but I'm still sending mail. I said, okay, I guess. I guess. I mean, what am I going to say to it? It gets into that, very bizarre, weird space of, okay, what do you want me to say? Like, what do you want me to say?
Well,
This is the letter I would use.
would-
That's the letter I would use, blah, blah, blah. How many are you going to send? Well, I plan to send out, about 1,000 a month. I go, it's not enough. You need to send it multiple times. You need to be able to spend X amount of money. This happened not once, but twice. And it was the reason I actually stopped. People believe in those older philosophies that just, I can do it on the web for the email's the same thing, right? You're not going to get a 65% open rate of any mail marketing on the planet. You're going to get, 1 to 3% at, I don't know really technically what the open rate is. They don't look at it. They call it a read rate, which is not accurate, especially with postcards. But at the end of the day, it's a 0.5%, as good as 3%. So apply that to email marketing. If I get 65% of all the emails that I've got that open up and look at my message online, and I've got a 3-minute message on there for them to watch, my 1 to 3% is going to have a higher conversion rate. It's an opt rate. So, and at the end of the day, it's still not going to change what really has to occur, Fred. I got to talk to him. I'm going to have to talk to him. I've personally been trying to figure out a way to have people not talk to me. And I have failed miserably, repeatedly on the topic. We all have to engage our clients. We have to put ourselves out there. And I think it starts with that USP, or at least the content, or any of it for that matter.
Yeah, I agree. I always have to pick up the phone and call my clients and let them know that the rates have come down and we can refinance them to the lower rate at no cost again and drop them a 0.5 point with no costs out of their pocket. Nothing gets added to the loan. I'm obviously, if the property taxes are due, they got to pay that. If the mortgage interest gets prorated, they got to pay that. And the homeowner's insurance, if it doesn't have 60 days remaining on the policy annual renewal date, then they got to pay that. But besides that, we pay for all the costs associated with doing a loan. So you got to pick up the phone and call them. I'm usually on and off the phone in about 60 seconds. And I have numerous people have witnessed that, but that's only because my clients already trust me. And all I'm doing is they're like, yep, do it again, Fred. It's like the 4th or 5th time. And they already know the procedure because we've done it so many times before. So it's the easiest call to make. And it's the fastest money that I'll ever make in such a short amount of time. And I've had homeowners at my desk in my office, and we had, 10 offers on their property. And I remember asking one homeowner before I picked up the phone, oh, this is on regarding your property. I go, what's the fastest you've ever made $20,000 or $30,000? He couldn't give me an answer. And I said, well, let's see how fast we can do that for you. And he heard me word for word, exactly what I said to the potential realtor, a potential home buyer. And the guy was super motivated. And I got him an extra 20,000. I think I was on and off the phone call in 45 seconds. And I said, have you made it faster than 45 seconds? And he goes, Fred, I understand why you're successful. Because I'm honest and I don't have to tell people there's 15 other offers when there isn't 15 other offers. I just tell them, hey, look, I'll fax these other offers over to you. I'm not going to show you what they offered, but I'll just show you the property address and their name, just so you believe me. Because the most frustrating thing to me is when the realtor says, oh, we have other offers. Well, my first question is, are you going to fax those over to me? And of course, their answer is, no, sorry, we can't do that due to privacy issues. And I said, okay, no problem. And I said, well, what's the point of telling me that you have other offers? And obviously the answer is so we can get my client a higher sales price. Well, my approach when I say that is I'll prove it to you. I'll email them, but you're going to pay for it with my time if I have to actually do that. If you want me to prove it to you, I'll prove it to you. But when we get back and you ask me, oh, what price do I need to put down on the purchase contract in order to get this offer accepted and this house into escrow, I'm going to make sure my seller gets a higher price for my time that it took to prove to this person that I actually do have other offers. And I've done that a couple times. I've actually sent the other offers and I had to scan them or, scan them certain ways and block certain information. So that way, they didn't see what the purchase price was or what they were offering. I've had to do that because they challenged me on it. And I said, okay. And then if they called me back, oh, I got my client extra money. I guarantee you that because I'll remember who they were. But in the end, it's all about your pitch. It's all about your marketing efforts, your content, and what you're going to do in order to get your phone to ring. And that ringing, and I don't know why, Lee, and this is just a personal thing between me and you, but I don't know why we don't talk a little bit more about taking your email list and uploading it to Facebook, because
you know what, we'll do that on Tuesday. Why don't we do that? I think that's we'll do another step-by-step on it. In fact, we'll share your screen, Fred.
I don't do it for me. I don't do it, but I'm more than happy to share my screen. I have someone that does it for me. So maybe I could invite him.
Get him for Tuesday at 9:00 and we'll go through it.
Okay. I could ask him to participate in that, what he does.
Yeah. And the other thing, and I was talking to this guy about it, what people don't know about your Facebook business page. When you do that kind of marketing, you can also, I'm sure you've all seen it, like Google ads or little pop-up ads that appear on the internet, right? Like, so this is a fact. My friend in Pasadena, Donica, sent out an email, or I clicked on her page or whatever I did. It attached a cookie or a link so that when you have those little things that pop up on your email, this has happened on Fight Net Radio. It's hilarious. Her realtor ad appears on the sidebar in that little ad field on the right that got followed around. Now, if I clicked on it, it would charge her, which I occasionally do for my personal amusement. She doesn't watch these videos, but I find it completely amusing that I'm sure I cost her, I guarantee you, here's what she did. She just took her email list. She uploaded it to Facebook. Facebook actually gives you the option on the page itself when you're setting it up to add whatever term you want to use, a webhook, a meta link, a cookie. Basically, it's the thing that creates those ads on those sidebars. So it's already attached. So now when those little ad boxes pop up, I see her little real estate ad pop up on the side of the page in those boxes. And that's not really difficult stuff. I realize that it requires some level of special expertise, and you got to get those cookies and you got to get them attached, and people overpay for that service. And I was talking to the guy who does all that stuff, and I was shocked at how little he was invested into Google and using those platforms. For a guy who believed in creating content, or at least in creating engagement, you're leaving half the game out by not including Google and YouTube. I mean, I don't want to deal with Google and YouTube. I just have to. There's no way around it. So these are all the ways that I'm forcing people into a funnel that takes weeks and weeks, touches and touches, touches and touches and touches, touches of touches of touches. You got to do it. The reason Fred gets such a high engagement rate on social media, the reason his phone will ring when he puts a post out, he's been doing it forever. with the same group of people. They feel comfortable to share information and engage and call Fred. I mean, again, it's the message you put out. And that's kind of where we started this. What is the message that you're putting out? And you sell a message of being nice. Nothing wrong with it. You're helpful. Sally's helpful. You guys put that message out there, and that's how you get your clients.
Yeah, then the message is everything. We know that. The content is everything. We know that. And so you just got to be consistent, and we know that. So I live and breathe this stuff every day. People are texting me all the time. You know, they don't necessarily respond on Facebook because they don't like the engagement on Facebook, but they see my message on Facebook, and then they'll text me, and I read what they text me. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And you know, because they're smart guys too. And so I'll get all kinds of engagement, but different ways. Like instead of the response on Facebook, they'll text me and they'll send me a link to an article that like they're basically saying, hey, Fred, read this. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So, you know, it's always all kinds of different engagement. And I never stop sending the messages out there. I mean, I got stuff every day. I put a video of my email database on Facebook. I just put the video, and I had 17,988 emails in my email database. And I said, I'm going to be talking about what to send to these 17,988 email addresses on Saturday morning at 9:30. And I guarantee you, my phone will ring when I send out information to them. I'm going to show you how to make your phone ring when you send information out to your email database. Join me Saturday at 9:30 a.m. That was my little Facebook pitch, right? And as I was mentioning yesterday, everybody in this group should help others in their local area, you know, where their clients are. Send that out to your email database. Hey, do you own a business? Hey, are you a salesperson? Hey, do you have an email database? Hey, do you want to know how to reach these people via email or Facebook with your message, whatever your message is? Do you want to know how to do that? If so, join me Saturday at 9:30 a.m. and then do a little Facebook Live. You know who should do it is Antonio should do it. He does a lot of marketing. I don't know, Brendan, he's another one that
Brendan
I see
does it a lot.
Brendan does it a lot.
Yeah, and during the only reason I haven't been as aggressive, it's Facebook Live, it's Zoom webinars. Back in the day, it was, GoToWebinar constantly. I'm engaging and I'm doing it live. What I discovered it's interesting. Those are the days where people were buying the automated, I'm doing the webinar in 15 minutes, just conveniently when you clicked on it and it starts the webinar. Look, people are far too savvy and that became oversaturated. So creating a video, or if you want to give somebody a recorded version of your message is fine. If you're going to do live, do live. Don't try to fake people into believing it's live. There's nothing. I have done many a webinar and Zoom webinar and multiple forms of webinar, Facebook Live or YouTube Live. I've done them all. I've done many of those that are for a person, 2 people, 3 people. As long as they stay on the call and as long as I'm recording the content, I'll keep going. Will I make it a little bit shorter? Sure, if I'm doing it by myself and alone, from an engagement standpoint. But yeah, realistically speaking, you're creating this. This is live. Everybody's looking at a live stream of me. In fact, I don't even really believe in doing PowerPoints that much anymore. I would much rather do a screen share with a live video And I kind of, simple headlines or simple pop-ups or simple articles that back up and substantiate what you're talking about. You want to give social proof on some level, but I think the days of the real hard, fast, slick slides, start with your talk about you, talk about your family, talk about the problem, give the solution, then give them the option to hire you for the solution. It's usually the basic webinar format, and or any live presentation for that matter. I don't know how many presentations I've been on where I've heard somebody talk about their family. I fall into that trap too. The reason everybody knows McKinsey is because it was a part of my presentation. I did what everybody else did. I am in two groups. I think everybody's seen it. So the reality, I would rather, if you really break down the anatomy of a conversation on a conversion, and I saw this at the networking event. Where are you from? I mean, where are you in Vegas? Oh, I just moved out here a week ago. Oh, where did you come from? San Diego. Why would you leave San Diego for Vegas? Well, now here's the discussion and the connection, right? It's no different than a webinar, but in a live conversation. Oh, my daughter's going to school at Utah again. I don't want to alienate people and tell her she's going to BYU, right? People have all the opinions they want about Mormons, and I'm not here to try to convert any of that. She's going to school in Utah, and she does color guard. So I want to be closer to her so I can go attend the game. It's much easier to make, 4.5 hour, 5 hour drive than a 10-hour drive. Or, I mean, let's be honest, even a flight from San Diego with cars getting dropped off and everything is still a 3 to 5 hour extravaganza if you can get a pilot these days. So this is sort of the happy medium, is how I explain it. So now I've established I'm a family person. I have a daughter. I'm creating connection. They usually open up and tell me about their kids. Now we have a connection. And then we talk business from there. And I don't ever have to whip out substantial, I know everything there is to know about marketing. The truth is I probably do. I mean, I am constantly amazed by a few things, but by and large, I pretty much know all the basic forms up to, I'd say, advanced. Yeah, sure, there's stuff out there like AIs and super chat bots and stuff that people know they're talking to robots. And I mean, the robots have gotten so much better for engagement, but that's about the only new fish in the sea when it comes to converting online or even putting someone we looked at automated call centers that sound real, Fred. I mean, they sound real-ish, but at the end of the day, I knew they weren't real. And the problem is when they become real, they try too hard. So I've looked at every angle for every form of marketing, right down to trying MailChimp over Constant Contact this week. I constantly have to test and improve, or I'm no better than the people who make outrageous statements at these marketing events of, I make websites that, fly tall buildings in a single bound and jump over this and do this, and we'll get you 5,000 people on their website. I'm like, whatever. Whatever. I'm not here to argue with anybody. They're just outrageous claims. Almost everybody who's on this call or everybody who's watching this on a replay has purchased the IDX routine for their website when they bought a website, right? Remember the IDX craze, everyone? The one that cost us all the money to drop on the front page of our website? If you don't have anybody going to your website, what's the point of being able to have a property search of the MLS on your website? Which is always the same thing as me talking about contact managers, right? The contact manager systems. I laugh about those all the time. If you have no contacts to put into a CRM, Fred, what's the point of your CRM? Like, CRMs don't generate leads. They manage your leads. So I think we're coming up on the NAR Super Show here in September, right? There will be multiple people selling CRMs. I actually have a new pitch for me because I did talk to realtors, which was this. I go, oh, there's a very simple problem in real estate. You're only doing 400,000 transactions, and then there's 1.5 million real estate agents, probably about another 1.5 million people being investors. So let's just roughly say there are 3 million people out there trying to deal with real estate at this moment, and about 400,000 transactions. I go, the math doesn't quite work. That one doesn't go into the other very well. I don't know what the average would be, but, and that always gets them to open their eyes. Yeah, it seems like I'm competing with everybody in the city. Well, what are you doing? I'm cold calling, mailing, and door knocking on expireds and cancels. So yeah, so is everybody else. Got to be a specialist.
That's when you have those are the people who get those listings are the ones that are trusted and the ones that have the best sales techniques and who are the best salespeople. When you're good at marketing, you don't have to try to shove your thoughts down someone's throat, because you know you're going to have more calls coming, and you can rest your rest. I don't know what the proper word is, but you can be confident that you have more calls coming later that day. So you don't have to be aggressive in your closing techniques to try to close that sale with that person that just called you on the phone, or
Right.
that next person who's going to call you, because you have peace and you're content and you know how to make people call you. That's what email marketing does for you. That's what Facebook, uploading your email database to your Facebook business page and getting your message out to your custom list, which is your previous clients, as a sponsored ad, and putting that message out there to get engagement. And you'll be surprised, at least what happens with me every time I do that. My previous clients, Fred helped me save my mom's house from foreclosure. Fred did this, Fred did that. I don't ask these people to engage with me. They automatically do it. And one of them always says, Fred is probably sick of me writing all these testimonials about him, but every time I see him and every time I see one of his messages, all I can think about is how he saved my mom's house from foreclosure. And I want to help him. And I want everybody to know that this guy's the real deal. That's what he does for me. I don't ask him, but it's on every post. He does that. It's like a free salesperson working for me saying how good I am, And so if you do that time and time again, you're going to get this type of response from your previous clients. But you got to be Facebook friends with them. You got to reach out to them. You got to find out who all your previous clients are. And you got to send them friend requests on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, however you can find them. But you got to get engaged to them. You've got to find these people, because if you do, they're going to do those types of written testimonials for you. And if I have a good person where I saved them $18,000, I'm going to ask them, hey, I know this is I don't know if you feel comfortable with this, but it would really help me. And I know I did a good job for you, but could you do a little video? And are you okay if I post that on Facebook? Sure enough, no problem, Fred. Absolutely, I'll do that for you. Because I got this girl a check for $18,570 that no other, well, maybe some others would have known, but I actually did the research. I looked it up for her. Here's the number to call. Not only did I get them $18,570 or whatever it was, but I also got them disability payments for life. For life. I got them disability payments through, I think her husband was a Navy, person. So not only did I get them the refund of their funding fee, which was $18,000, but I also got them money for the rest of their life each and every month. So I felt pretty good about that. So I'm going to put that video out there on my Facebook. And my next little thing when I send out a message to all my previous clients, guess what video is going out? That video that my client, and she seemed nervous in the video, but she was also.
Yeah. Did I lose you? You faded out there. I think we lost
You could
Fred.
tell she was a little nervous.
Go ahead.
Great, great, great. The best marketing ever. There's not a better marketing effort than that.
There you go. Ooh, is this my internet or is it Fred? No, are you still there, Fred?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, no, you had faded out a couple of times during that. I'm going to end on this because I got to start doing red calls here shortly. I was thinking about a way to improve Lori's pitch, and I think this would help all of you. This is what I'm going to recommend to her. Please feel free to use it if you'd like as a home advocate. Hi, my name is Lee. I work for a company called Home Advocates. Everybody, no, what is it? Most of you know somebody who has missed a payment, behind on a payment, or did a forbearance during the COVID situation. We specialize in helping those people. Please see me. I would love to hear the story. That's it. Or something to that effect. I think that would get a higher engagement rate. I do like the most of you, if not all of you, that's very neurolinguistic programming. But most of you, if not all of you, know somebody who's experienced going through a forbearance or not being able to make payments based on the current market. Please see me and we can discuss options that would help them stay in their house. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Look for the referral. I can tell from talking to other real estate agents, they are not interested in talking to distressed homeowners for sure. They're not into it, Fred.
Yeah, I know.
They're just not right now. And I understand why. I mean, it's very interesting work for sure. It's, to say the very least, right? It's they're a bit difficult and the situations are difficult. But that's what makes you a specialist and will help you. Oh, here's a fun fact. I was going to talk about it next week. CDPE has decided to once again start sending out a newsletter randomly on a just yesterday, in fact. CDPE for the first time in almost 2 years sent out a newsletter. There's a fun fact. So if you don't think that they're not going to show up, they will. Regular agents will be back. It's just a lead source. And NAR's already looking at it. You have to know. You have to know. I think that'll do it for this week, Fred. I'll get these all back out and get this out to everybody. I'm going to start my red calls here shortly, and I look forward to talking to everybody on red calls today. Almost everybody is shooting for like a full half hour, and that'll be cut up into multiple pieces of content. Some of them will be used as long form. And I just sent Fred the email list of the entire coaching group to make sure that you guys get information for Saturday, just so it's not on me. Or knowing Fred, they'll probably be uploaded to the internet by his people. And you will be seeing some marketing on that shortly. I think that covers it, Fred. I will be there on Saturday if I'm not doing a red call, because I do have some.
Yeah, if you're going to be there, I'll definitely have you say a few things. I'm just going to do Facebook Live, and you can invite people to join the Facebook Live and say whatever it is that they want to say, and then the next person can do that as well. So I know
What time are you doing it on Saturday?
9:30. I'm going to try.
I think you're good. I don't have anything on my list at that time. I'll definitely be there.
Good, Lee. You deserve it. I mean, it's just to people on Facebook. I think it's going to get a good response. And, you know, the thing is, we always go to these, I always have my normal list of people that I work with. But on Facebook, you get people that are not on your email list. So that's why I try to also do Facebook in addition to my email list.
But I can also do additional marketing while you're doing the event and actually doing your stuff. So it'll give me an opportunity to share your stuff all over the internet on the real estate groups and drop it into your local. I'll join some local Coachella Valley groups as well and see what I can do about helping that message even get out there further for you while it's happening live. We're going to try to snag people that are live. I mean, when you actually start sharing a live broadcast, which I try to do when you're talking and we're doing the live on Wednesday, I'm usually sharing it to groups in real estate. So you're basically looking for people that are online at that moment. It isn't really pre-marketing as much. Everyone from my side will get a link tomorrow. I'll put all 3 videos up tomorrow. Of course, I'll send this video out now because I got texts from people who didn't get links. So I'll get all that. I'll get everybody a copy of today. Tomorrow, you'll get all 3 videos, but you'll also get a link to Fred's email, as always, but you'll also get a link to Fred's event tomorrow as well. As well as still the opportunity to join fantasy football that nobody signed up for. But all that's going to happen too. I'll make a big long laundry list of links and things you guys can text on, and all 3 of these videos. The second one's actually getting uploaded right now. It's my current place that I'm at, while my final resting place is actually being finally put together. It was supposed to be put together on Monday, which has now turned into, it won't be ready till the last day of the month. There's a shocker. Airbnb is a wonderful thing. All right, cool, Myra. Just send an email to lee@honors.io. Lori will be very excited. We're giving away a fabulous prize for anyone who beats me. Plus, I believe Lori wants to buy trophies, which is even more ridiculous. But I am more than happy to, spend a week with somebody doing marketing or get somebody a listing. One of the, you got to beat me. You got to beat me. This is like, what is it? Alex versus America. I know you guys don't watch the Food Channel, but trust me, you got to beat the best to go after it. Oh, hey, T. Miller. Where were you when I used the word machination, T. Miller? I was waiting for, I would have known it was you immediately when I used the word machination earlier. Does anybody else get an email that gives them a new word to use every day? Like some high-end word? I try to work them in, Fred. I do. Something to be said about that new word per day. It's amazing.
I'm providing a link right now to this Facebook Live event so they can click on that.
There you go. I'm going to turn the recorder off. So if you guys are watching this video or anything, yes, we were testing out MailChimp this week. You've heard it. You've watched it. All the videos will be out on Friday in one big package, but I'll make sure today's is out as well. We're about a day behind. So this one I'll try to get both yesterday and today out in today's batch. My just upload speeds are awful, Fred. Awful. I miss my cable modem desperately. I want to be in my final place. And I'm not yet, Fred, and I'm irritated. But no reason you guys should suffer. The what, Fred?
13 more days before you're at your...
Yes, Fred. And I'm on the other side of town. But, it's all good. Growing pains here. And so if you have any questions, just send an email to lee@honors.io. I'll make sure you guys get all the links today, as well as I'll put Fred's link on a short link. I'll make a bit.ly link for that bad boy for Saturday. I will be there on Saturday at 9:30 and join in on the fun and frivolity of talking about email marketing. And I'm going to turn the recorder off. So click the links down below. See you guys all on